Before you judge yourself, before you call yourself lazy, unmotivated, or broken, pause for a moment and listen carefully. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly felt mentally calm, deeply focused, and fully present without the urge to check your phone or distract yourself? If you can't remember, it's not because you lack discipline, it's because you are living inside a system that never allows your mind to rest. From the moment you wake up, your attention is being pulled in multiple directions, trained to react instead of think, to consume instead of create. This video is not here to motivate you with empty words or unrealistic promises. It is here to reveal something most people never question. What if your exhaustion is not a personal failure, but a predictable outcome of the world you live in? What if you were never lazy at all, only shaped, trained, and slowly drained without realizing it? You are not lazy. That belief was carefully planted in your mind over time. From childhood, you were conditioned to think that your worth is directly tied to productivity, speed, and visible success. If you slow down, struggle to focus, or feel mentally exhausted, you are told the problem is your discipline, your mindset, or your effort. But what no one explains is that you are living inside an environment that constantly attacks your attention. You wake up to notifications, spend your day jumping between screens, consume hours of short-form content designed to overstimulate your brain, and fall asleep mentally drained yet unsatisfied. Your mind was never designed to operate like this. Humans are not machines built for non-stop stimulation, rapid task switching, or endless information consumption. When your brain is overloaded, it naturally resists effort, avoids deep work, and seeks quick relief, not because you are lazy, but because it is trying to protect itself from burnout. Over time, this overstimulation rewires how you think and feel. Your ability to concentrate weakens, your patience shrinks, and tasks that once felt manageable now feel overwhelming. Real work starts to feel boring compared to the instant dopamine of scrolling, likes, and notifications. Then, when you struggle to perform, the system offers you motivational quotes instead of solutions, telling you to grind harder or be more disciplined. This shifts the blame onto you, keeping you distracted from the real cause. Self-blame becomes a trap. You criticize yourself, doubt your potential, and push harder while ignoring the fact that your mental energy is being drained every single day. A person who is exhausted and blaming themselves rarely questions the system around them. The truth is uncomfortable but powerful. Your tiredness, lack of focus, and fading motivation are not personal failures. They are predictable outcomes of a world designed to capture your attention, fragment your thinking, and keep you mentally busy but emotionally empty. When you feel stuck, unmotivated, or behind in life, it does not mean you are weak, it means you are human. You are reacting exactly as a human mind does when it is overstimulated, undervalued, and constantly pulled in opposite directions. Understanding this is the first step toward clarity, because once you stop blaming yourself, you begin to see the design behind your exhaustion, and only then can you start taking your power back. What most people never realize is that exhaustion is not an accident, it is a feature. The modern world does not just distract you, it slowly trains your brain to stay in a constant state of low-level stress, urgency, and comparison. Every platform competes for your attention, not by offering depth, but by triggering emotion, outrage, desire, fear, and validation. Your brain releases small bursts of dopamine with every scroll, every notification, every like, and over time it becomes dependent on these quick rewards. Deep focus, patience, and long-term effort start to feel painful because they no longer provide instant stimulation. This is how motivation quietly dies, not through laziness, but through chemical exhaustion. Meanwhile, you are surrounded by curated success stories that make you feel behind, inadequate, and late in life, even when you are trying your best. This constant comparison keeps you anxious and restless, pushing you to consume more content in search of relief, which only deepens the cycle. The system never tells you to stop because your distraction fuels its growth. Your attention is converted into data, profit, and influence. As long as you are tired, overstimulated, and blaming yourself, you remain easy to manage, working just enough to survive, scrolling just enough to escape, and questioning yourself instead of the structure that is draining you. This is not chaos, it is a pattern, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. In the past, control was obvious. It came through force, fear, and visible authority, but today control is subtle, quiet, and psychological. You are not told what to think, you are overwhelmed until you stop thinking deeply at all. When your mind is constantly busy, tired, and overstimulated, it has no energy left to question reality, challenge narratives, or imagine alternatives. This is why silence has replaced censorship and distraction has replaced oppression. You are free to speak, but too exhausted to organize your thoughts, free to choose, but too confused to know what truly matters. The system does not need to block information anymore, it floods you with it, knowing that an overloaded mind cannot distinguish truth from noise. Over time, this creates a population that is reactive instead of reflective, emotionally triggered instead of rational, and constantly chasing relief instead of purpose. You begin to feel empty, not because life has no meaning, but because your mental space has been colonized. When every spare moment is filled with content, there is no room left for stillness, self-awareness, or clarity. And a person without clarity is easy to guide, easy to distract, and easy to replace. This is how control works now, not by locking doors, but by keeping minds endlessly busy. Awareness is where the design begins to fail. The moment you stop calling yourself lazy and start observing what is draining you, the system loses its grip. Reclaiming your focus does not require extreme discipline or endless motivation. It begins with reducing noise, creating space, and allowing your mind to rest from constant stimulation. When you step back from nonstop consumption, your brain slowly relearns how to think deeply, how to sit with boredom, and how to rebuild patience. Clarity returns in silence, not in scrolling. Energy returns when your attention is no longer scattered in 100 directions. This is why awareness is dangerous to systems built on distraction. A clear mind questions, reflects, and chooses intentionally. You do not need to escape society or reject technology completely, you only need to stop letting it use you unconsciously. The truth is simple but powerful. You were never broken, weak, or incapable, you were overwhelmed. And once you understand that, you stop fighting yourself and start redesigning your life on your own terms. That is not rebellion through chaos, it is resistance through clarity. If this message made you uncomfortable, that's a good sign. Discomfort often appears right before clarity. You don't need to change everything overnight, prove anything to anyone, or push yourself harder than you already have. The real shift begins when you stop fighting yourself and start protecting your attention, your energy, and your mental space. Progress does not come from pressure, it comes from awareness and intention. Remember this, a system that survives on distraction will always label clarity as weakness and rest as laziness. But the moment you step back, question the noise, and choose focus over overload, you reclaim something priceless, your mind. You were never behind in life, never incapable, and never lazy. You were simply human in an inhuman environment. And now that you see it, you get to decide what you do with that awareness.